Welcome, welcome, aspiring word wizards. I am so glad you could make it to my floating library. Today, we're going to unlock some of the most powerful and secret magic in the entire English language. Our spellbook for today is all about one simple yet incredibly powerful little word, the verb to take. Now, it might seem small, but trust me, it's the key to casting hundreds of different language spells. So, forget everything you think you know about boring lessons. This isn't a lecture. This is a quest. Together, we're going to master the enchantments of this very tricky little verb. You ready? Let's begin. Okay, let's start with our very first lesson. You see, the reason take is so special is because it's what we call a light verb. I want you to think of it as a basic magical ingredient, just pure potential that's waiting for you to give it some shape and purpose. So what is a light verb? Well, it's kind of like a magic wand without a spell. On its own, it doesn't really have much power. But when you combine it with the right noun, its true magic is unleashed, and suddenly you've created a full, clear meaning. And take isn't alone in its power. Oh no. Our library here is full of these core ingredients for word magic. Some of the most common ones are have, give, make, do, and go. Every single one of them holds its own unique potential. All right, now that we understand the ingredients, let's open up the spellbook to our first chapter. We're going to start by practicing some simple, everyday spells, the kind you'll find yourself using all the time. We'll begin with the magic of daily routines. You know, the simple spells you cast when you need to wash away the day's dirt or just find a moment of peace and quiet. Here's our first incantation. When you want to wash, you don't do a shower or make a shower, you take a shower. And the very same magic applies to taking a bath. It's a simple spell, for sure, but an essential one. And here is a really wonderful spell you can offer to a friend. When you see that someone is tired, you can suggest they take a break or maybe take a rest. It's a kind piece of magic that, believe me, everyone appreciates. Excellent work. Okay, let's turn the page to some more advanced magic. Now, these spells are a little bit more complex, but I think you'll find they're also a lot more exciting. Now, I want you to look closely at how one phrase can hold two completely different spells. Take care can be a spell of warning, right? It means be careful. But it can also be a spell of nurturing, meaning look after someone or something. The magic here is all in how you use it. Now, this one is a common trap for new wizards. You don't make a photo with your hands. You use a camera to capture a moment, right? So you take a photo or you take a picture. And for the truly brave among us, there is this spell. A risk isn't something you create. It's a chance you decide to accept. So you take a risk. A very, very powerful piece of magic indeed. All right, apprentices, prepare yourselves because we're now entering the realm of transformative magic. This is where we add a tiny magical particle, a preposition, right after take, and it completely changes its power. This is how we create something called a phrasal verb. So let's look at take off. This powerful phrasal verb has two totally distinct meanings. The first spell is for removing something, like taking off your jacket when you're hot. The second, much more spectacular spell is for flying, you know, when an airplane leaves the ground and soars into the air. When you want to begin a new journey, maybe learn a new skill or start a fun hobby, the spell you need is take up. You could take up skiing or take up painting, or maybe even take up playing the lute. Okay, now let's study the spell for transferring power, take over. Imagine you see someone struggling with a task. You can cast this spell to gain control and help them out. Let me take over. See? This is a spell all about family and resemblance. When you look or act like an older family member, we say you take after them. It's the magic of heritage, you know, passed down through the generations. And finally, we have take out. This is a social spell. When you take someone out, you invite them somewhere, like to a restaurant or the cinema. And, this spell often implies that the person casting it is going to pay. It's a very generous piece of magic. And just like that, we've reached the end of our spell book for today. Wow, you've learned so much! From the basics of light verbs all the way to the transformative power of phrasal verbs. You now hold some very powerful word magic right in your hands. The greatest magic isn't just about learning the spells, it's about actually using them. So I ask you this, go out into the world and practice. What new combinations will you discover? What kind of conversations will you create? The magic is now yours to wield.
Well done, everyone.